All right, so is back. What I wanted to do, let's do it this way. Let's just go to a channel real quick and see what the latest one is in regards to the whole Diddy trial. So, by the way, my name is RealVersatile, aka the Alkebulan trust name. We could trust comes to all things reactions. And right now, we're going to react to the whole Diddy trial situation. This is before the trial, just to let you know. So, let's see. Let's see. I'm definitely going to react to this another time. Hey, yo, that's interesting. Okay. All right, let's just react to this real quick. So Diddy claims temporary insanity in new court doctrine.
Our goodness is a rebel's choice since 1925. No lacquer.
React.
Oh my God, you guys, come and sit down and shut the door.
Hold on. Oh, for a minute, I thought the speed was it normal. Before we even get into this as well, yeah, I wanna quickly. Actually, no, let's watch this first and then get into it properly because I want to break it down properly.
Diddy is now trying to say that he lacked mental capacity to commit the crimes. Y'all, what is going on? Mark Agnifilo, you should be ashamed of yourself. The only time I'm questioning Diddy's mental capacity is how much money, tens of millions, he has paid Mark Agnifilo. Only for Mark Agnifilo. Mark's like, I gotta go. What am I talking about? If you guys don't know, Mark Agnifilo, in my opinion, played this all wrong. Now, when it comes to Diddy's case, we're about to get into why they say they have no capacity, but let me just say this. Mark Agnifilo played this all wrong. First of all, trying to S-shame people, trying to say, oh, lots of couples hired escorts. They're swingers. Okay, dummy. But let this be a wake-up to the industry, acting, music, couples. Just because everybody does it does not mean it's legal. Hiring sex workers is illegal. Having drug-filled or illegal. Laying hands on people, illegal. I don't care if everybody did it. They are sending a message. It's time to clean it up. But not only that, Diddy needed more time to prepare his defense. They snatched him off the street because he was doing something that threatened the investigation on such a high level that the feds were like, lock him up. So what ended up happening? Mark Agnifilo was one that pushed for a speedy trial. This trial could have been tried in a year or two. The feds were fine. Mark Agnifilo was like, nah, here's what we're going to do. We're going to say, no, we want a speedy trial. We're going to rush them to complete their investigation. And it's true, they did scale down their investigation, but dummy, they already had enough to do you in, Diddy. Anyway, right? Let me just skip past this, then we'll get to his mental stuff. So Mark Agnifilo was like, yo, here's what we're doing. It's trial. Trial is a lot of skill. We're going to rush this to trial and make sure that the feds close their investigation down early. And then we're going to say, hit pause and say, hey, can we bring the trial back in 2 months and 3 months? And we'll just keep asking for continuances. Don't worry, I got you. Diddy was like, yo, you sure it's going to work? He's like, yo, I got you. Relax. Well, guess what? Diddy, he does not have you. He tried that stuff. The judge, as you know, said, baby, we are a freight train moving forward. Jury selection is going to start on, May the 5th? The actual trial in court, and you know your girl's going to be covering it. It's going to be May 12th. Yeah. Baby, I know Diddy is
so
sick.
I thought
to the point that Mark Agnifilo...
I thought the trial date was May 5th. See, this is why it's good to go to this page, because obviously she's going to get the correct info. So the actual trial starts on May 12th. Okay, that's interesting. But let's keep moving now.
Agnifilo is now saying that he lacked the mental capacity to commit crimes. They said part of Diddy's defense involves his mental capacity to commit crimes while he was essentially wasted. He even has a doctor lined up to testify. but feds think it's a totally irrelevant point. Prosecutors filed their opposition to this line of testimony, and in the docs they say Diddy wants to have the doctor, who's a Columbia professor, testify he had a mental condition bearing on the issue of guilt. What? Well, listen. They said, well, the detail of its alleged condition is.
We know technically he would be insane to commit all these crimes in first place, but even so, you still need to be locked up for the things you've done, bruv. Or, you know what I mean? Let's just say allegedly done. But it's the things that you did, what you did to Cassie, clearly from what we've seen, yeah.
Is redacted to the documents, but there are some clues, including a bit about Diddy's alleged drinking and rugging. According to docs obtained by TMZ, and by obtained by TMZ, maybe Diddy's team gave this to TMZ. Prosecutors say legal precedent requires the defense to give proper notice before offering any evidence of the effects of drugs and alcohol on a defendant's memory or cognitive function. One other clue is prosecutors describing the doctor's potential testimony as evidence of the defendant's inability to control his behavior. Again, let's pause because we're not through this. How does this help you, Diddy? First of all, if you willingly intoxicate yourself, you are and engage in illegal behavior, you are responsible for everything that comes from it. For instance, if I go to a bar and I'll have a drink and you roofie my drink, and like I go and drive and something happens and I wipe out a whole family with my car, yeah, you're responsible for that. However, if I go and I drink and I inebriate myself to the point of, and I do it on my own, I'm responsible for that. Exactly. Diddy, what are you talking about? And what psychological condition do you have linked to guilt? No, really, I want to know. And you know I'm going to find out. Let me Google it. Hold on, y'all. Let me go Google this. Okay, I just got it. So they're saying it's either major depressive disorder with psychotic features. Severe guilt can trigger or worsen major depression. In extreme cases, the person may lose touch with reality. Psychotic depression, delusions of guilt, believing they deserve.
I mean, he is delusional to the point where, like, I don't know, does he think he's innocent? Is he delusional to the point where he thinks he's innocent? Or delusional to the point where he thinks if he pleads insanity that he will get a reduced sentence, or he will walk free because he will get into a mental institute? And like, I don't know, like, what is the game plan here? And whose idea was it? Because if it's one of his 100 lawyers that he has, and I'm exaggerating by saying 100 lawyers because you can have a team of lawyers, but like, if one person suggested that, they don't got his best interest at heart, which is good. I won't say he's good, but they don't have his best interest at heart. They're only there for the money. But just is what it is. If he's guilty of all these crimes, I get it. Most people they're gonna milk it for his money. It is what it is. Like there's like, think about it. Bin Laden, the person who was hired for Bin Laden, or Bin Laden hired that person. I don't know how it works, but he didn't want no more involvement with Diddy. No more involvement. That speaks more volumes that speaks more volume. But let's go.
Or punishment, even if they don't. Cognitive slowing and poor judgment. Obsessive compulsive disorder, the guilt variant. I don't think that's. The person is tormented by obsessive thoughts about guilt, wrongdoing, and harming others, even irrational. It could impair impulse control, judgment, and decision making. I don't think so. They're trying to say that he has guilt-driven PTSD, flashbacks, disassociation, mental checking out, and poor emotional regulation. So you're trying to say that when you was putting a whooping on the women around you and some men, you were disassociating and having flashbacks of what? Diddy, you was the one that was Diddy stomping your mom, according to Uncle Gene Dill. Anyway, acute stress reaction, temporary insanity, extreme guilt at the moment or just before the offense could trigger an acute dissociative state. Defense could argue temporary insanity, but this is incredibly hard to prove. That would mean the person lacked the capacity to understand what they were doing or distinguish right from wrong at that moment. Yeah, listen, I think that's what they're going to go for. honestly, I think they're actually going to go for cognitive impairment via, acute stress reaction, temporary insanity linked to guilt. Diddy, shut your dumb ass up and go make some beats. Okay, so
Go
they
make the
said,
beats. He doesn't. The joke is he didn't
according to
even make beats in the first place. He hired other people. Do you know what I mean? Use other people's talents to make the beats. Do you know what I mean? Like for example, he's guy Stevie J. Do you know what I mean? Like he would make the beats. Anyway, let's go.
the docs, they have to give proper notice before offering any evidence of effects of drugs or alcohol on a defendant's memory or cognitive function. On other clues, prosecutors describing the doctor's potential testimony as evidence of the defendant's inability to control his own behavior. What's interesting is the federal indictment accuses Diddy of rugging his victims into compliance during freak-offs, but now it's a question of whether Diddy himself was in a haze during the alleged crimes. Even if he was, prosecutors say the doctor's opinion on whether Diddy was lucid is irrelevant. In the docs, they do point out that the doctors never personally examined Diddy, and his testimony is based on his experience with other people. Prosecutors also want to block testimony of a forensic video expert regarding the Cassie Hotel beating video, which the judge ruled will be admitted as evidence. Okay, first of all, let me just say this, right? Being high is not a defense against criminal charges. Again, if that was true, I think pretty much every drunk driver would beat the case.
That's fact.
Right?
That's fact.
Again, you had how many years of being a billionaire mogul? Orchestrating the freakouts, freak-offs, inspecting them, having your like, how did you orchestrate? Diddy, you just say like, Diddy, shut up. Again, this is insanely pathetic, and it's insanely desperate. But also, it's the way Mark Agnifilo has been 100% wasting Diddy's time this whole time.
I said that.
Think about it.
I said it.
This defense won't hold.
I said it. Because what else can they do? Like, because I do believe there's some attorneys or solicitors or lawyers or whatever out there that only want to defend those who are actually genuinely innocent. But you have to realize that there are criminals out there that unfortunately, some solicitors, attorneys, whatever, like lawyers, they don't care whether they are guilty. Do you know what I mean? They just care about the money, and depending on their client, then they care about the notoriety. Do you know what I mean? Because this is a massive case. He's a public figure. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be a massive case. He's been around since like the 90s. Do you know what I mean? He's got involvement with not just hip hop culture, but with pop culture as well, and also on like Hollywood levels as well. So that, do you know what I mean? It's connected to the like certain politicians as well. So it just, and then we also have to take into consideration that with this guy, he's not only like to plead. So I lost train of thought. Oh yeah, so the solicitors in general, do you know what I mean? It's like they wanted to be involved in this. Do you know what I mean? I mean, obviously the one that represented Bin Laden said, see ya, I'm gone. Like he saw something and said, see ya, I'm gone.
Well, do you know how hard it is to prove temporary insanity? I'm not joking. I'm not talking about CSI or Matlock. I'm talking about in the real world. Even people that really are temporarily insane, the judge and the court doesn't want to hear it. It's so hard to prove temporary insanity. And the fact that Diddy is trying to do this is sad. This is pathetic. This is desperate. And to say this is purely Diddy. I mean, what do y'all think? Are y'all buying this? I know the jury's not. But also, again, you built a billion-dollar business. You were on the making of the band. You gave like motivation entrepreneur. You literally paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for elaborate smex parties. You literally looked and hired workers. You had your agents go in and set the hotel room, bring the baby oil, bring the lube, do all this stuff. And after that, they had to clean. And you did it over and over and over, not just with Cassie, but with multiple people. Because might I just add, Diddy wasn't the most faithful to Cassie when they were together. So as much as whatever Cassie went through, there were other people that had to engage in that. So again, where's the temporary insanity? Y'all listen, Diddy is just sad, pathetic, and tragic. But that's what I know about him. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget, I am going to be covering the trial. I'm a little bit under weather, but don't worry, your girl will be back soon. So look forward to blurry camera angles and subpar audio. I'm just joking. Your girl will be back soon. I'll see y'all soon, but yeah, we getting into this trial. Bye.
All right. So let's just quickly read the comments real quick. Goes off on what? Doctor. Well, I don't know. We won't get into that because he. Anyway, let's read the comments real quick. So this is called desperation. He has no defense. Facts. Diddy needs to man up. Don't cower now. He's not insane. He's just a monster. All right. So this person says, I am a mental health professional working in my community since 2013. I have only seen one person win their insanity plea. I have seen 100 try to use this insanity plea. Good luck with that, Diddy. He said, good luck with that. This really is desperation. His team of lawyers. No, full well, he is guilty. Full well guilty of these charges. And what? Hold on, of these charges. And the question now becomes, what are these charges? Before we get into that, I'm gonna try and see something real quick. I want to do something.